The floors of industries were always cold at night. Ho had learned this during his first week on the job 3 years ago. Now he barely noticed. His mop moved in slow, steady circles across the white marble, leaving wet trails that shined under the bright lights above. He was a janitor, a cleaner, a nobody in the eyes of the dragons who owned this building and everything inside it. Industries was the biggest company in the city. Some said it was the biggest in the whole world. The dragons who ran it were ancient creatures, powerful and proud. They had come to Earth 50 years ago when Ho's grandmother was still a young woman. At first, humans were afraid, but the dragons did not come to conquer. They came to do business. And business they did. Within decades, dragon corporations controlled most of the planet's wealth. Humans worked for them, served them, and tried their best to stay out of their way. Ho was good at staying out of the way. He worked the night shift because fewer dragons were around. Most of them left by sunset, flying home to their nests in the mountains or the special housing built just for their kind. By the time Ho started his work at 9 in the evening, the building was almost empty. Almost. Tonight something was different. Ho pushed his cleaning cart down the long hallway toward the main lobby. His footsteps echoed in the silence. The lobby was a massive room with glass walls that showed the city lights outside. In the center stood a golden statue of the company's founder, a dragon named Lord who had died 200 years before humans even knew dragons existed. Ho had cleaned around that statue 1,000 times. He knew every curve of its golden wings, every scale carved into its long tail. But tonight, there was something new at the base of the statue. A small shape, moving. Ho stopped. He squinted his eyes and looked closer. It was a child, a dragon child. The hatchling was tiny, no bigger than a large dog. Her scales were a soft purple color, like the sky just before dawn. She had small wings pressed tight against her back and a tail that curled around her feet. Her eyes were large and golden, and right now, they were filled with tears. She was crying. Ho felt his heart tighten. He had a younger sister named, and he remembered all the times she had cried when she was small. The sound was different, but the feeling was the same. A child was hurting. He looked around. The lobby was empty. Where were the hatchling's parents? Where were the guards? Dragon children were precious. They were protected like treasures. For one to be alone like this was very strange. The hatchling let out a small sob. In her tiny claws she held something. Ho moved a little closer and saw that it was a toy. A mechanical bird made of silver metal and blue gems. But the bird's wing was bent at a bad angle, and its eyes no longer glowed with light. The toy was broken. Ho knew he should walk away. Humans were not supposed to approach dragon children. It was not against the law, but it was understood. Dragons were protective of their young. If a parent found a human near their hatchling, things could go very badly. But the child kept crying, and Ho could not make his feet move away. He took a slow breath and walked forward. He stopped a few steps from the hatchling and crouched down so he would not seem so tall. "Hello," he said softly. The hatchling looked up. Her golden eyes went wide. She had probably never been this close to a human before. "Are you okay?" Ho asked. He kept his voice gentle, the same way he used to talk to when she was scared. The hatchling did not answer. She just held up the broken toy and let out another sad sound. "Your bird is broken," Ho said. He nodded slowly. "That is very sad. I am sorry." The hatchling sniffled. A tiny flame flickered from her nose, a sign of dragon emotion. Ho did not flinch. He had seen dragons breathe fire before. A little flame from a baby did not scare him. "What is your name?" he asked. The hatchling hesitated. Then, in a small voice like bells ringing, she said. Ho repeated, "That is a beautiful name. My name is Ho." Looked at him with curious eyes. The tears were still falling, but she had stopped sobbing. "Ho," she tried to say, but it came out more like Te-Ho. He smiled, close enough. He looked at the toy in her claws. The mechanical bird was finely made. Dragon craftsmanship was always perfect, always beautiful, but even perfect things could break. "May I see your bird?" Ho asked. Clutch the toy. Her eyes showed fear. "I will not take it," Ho promised. "I just want to look, maybe I can help." The hatchling studied him for a long moment. Dragons were known for being able to sense lies. Even young ones had this gift. Whatever saw in Ho's eyes, it must have been truth, because slowly she held out the broken toy. Ho took it carefully. The bird was heavier than it looked. He turned it over in his hands, examining the bent wing and the dark eyes. "The wing joint is loose," he said, more to himself than to, "and the power connection is broken. That is why the eyes do not light up." Made a questioning sound. Ho looked at her and smiled. "I think I can fix this." The hatchling's eyes went wide. "Fix?" "Yes, but I need my tools. Will you wait here for me? I will be very fast." Looked uncertain, but then she nodded her small head. Ho stood up and hurried back to his cleaning cart. In the bottom compartment he kept a small toolbox. It was not fancy, just simple tools he used to fix broken things around the building. A loose door handle here, a stuck window there. The company did not pay him extra for it, but Ho liked to help. He grabbed the toolbox and returned to the hatchling. She had not moved from her spot. Her eyes followed his every step. Ho sat down on the cold marble floor, crossing his legs. He opened his toolbox and laid out his tools. Then he began to work on the mechanical bird. The building stayed silent around them. Outside, the city lights glittered like stars, and in the shadow of the golden dragon statue, a human janitor worked to fix a toy for a crying dragon child. Neither of them knew that this small moment would change everything. Ho worked carefully on the mechanical bird. His fingers moved slowly, gently. Dragon craftsmanship was delicate. One wrong move could break the toy forever. Watched him with her big golden eyes. She had stopped crying now. Instead, she seemed fascinated by what Ho was doing. She leaned forward, her small purple snout almost touching his hands. "Careful," Ho said with a soft laugh. "You might get poked." Pulled back a little, but her eyes never left the toy. The bird's wing was the easier problem. The joint had come loose from its socket. Ho used his smallest screwdriver to adjust the tiny screws that held it in place. Dragon metalwork was different from human metalwork. It was lighter, stronger, and the screws were shaped like spirals instead of straight lines. But Ho had fixed enough dragon-made things in this building to understand how they worked. "There," he said, moving the wing back and forth. It swung smoothly now like it was supposed to. One problem fixed. Let out a happy chirp. The sound was strange but cute. It reminded Ho of the birds that sang outside his apartment window in the morning. "Now for the hard part," Ho said. The power connection was broken inside the bird's chest. Ho could see the problem through a small glass panel on the bird's belly. A tiny wire had come loose. To fix it, he would need to open the bird up. He looked at, "This might take a little while. Is that okay?" The hatchling nodded. She settled down on the floor, tucking her tail around her body like a cat. She was getting comfortable. Ho smiled and got back to work. As he worked, he thought about his sister. She was 20 years old now, studying at a university far from the city. But Ho remembered when she was small. He remembered holding her hand when she was scared of thunder. He remembered reading her stories at night when their parents worked late. He remembered fixing her toys when they broke. Their family had never been rich. Ho had worked since he was 16 to help pay the bills. He never got to go to university but he made sure she could. He worked night shifts so he could send her money every month. It was hard sometimes. Lonely too. But when called him on the phone and told him about her classes, about her friends, about her dreams, Ho knew it was worth it. He found the loose wire inside the bird. It was thinner than a human hair and glowed faintly with blue light. Dragon technology used a special kind of energy that humans still did not fully understand. But Ho did not need to understand it. He just needed to reconnect it. He pulled out a pair of tiny pliers from his toolbox. Holding his breath, he carefully grabbed the wire and guided it back to its connection point. There was a soft click, and the wire locked into place. The bird's eyes flickered. Gasped. Ho closed the panel on the bird's chest and held up the toy. The eyes glowed bright blue now, full of light and life. The wings moved on their own, flapping gently. A soft musical sound came from the bird's beak, like a tiny song. "There you go," Ho said. He held the bird out too, good as new. The hatchling stared at the toy with wonder. Her golden eyes were so wide that Ho could see his own reflection in them. Slowly, she reached out and took the bird from his hands. The moment her claws touched it, the bird sang louder. It flapped its wings and flew up from her palms, circling around her head before landing on her shoulder. Laughed. It was a beautiful sound, like wind chimes in a summer breeze. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was clearer now, stronger. "Thank you, Ho." Ho felt warmth spread through his chest. "You are welcome." The hatchling looked at him with a curious tilt of her head. "Why did you help me?" The question surprised Ho. "What do you mean?" "Mother says humans only do things for money or power," said, "but you did not ask for anything. Why?" Ho thought about the question. He had never really thought about why he helped people. He just did. "I have a little sister," he said finally. "When she was small like you, she used to cry when her toys broke. I always fixed them for her. It made her happy." He smiled at, "When I saw you crying, I remembered her. I wanted to help." Looked at him for a long moment. Then she said something that Ho did not expect. "You are kind." The words were simple, but coming from a dragon, they felt like something more. Dragons did not use words carelessly. When they said something, they meant it deeply. "Thank you," Ho said. He felt a little embarrassed. Stood up on her small legs. The mechanical bird chirped on her shoulder. "I like you, Ho. You are my friend now." Ho blinked. "Friend?" "Yes," nodded firmly. "My human friend." Before Ho could respond, a sound echoed through the lobby. Footsteps. Heavy footsteps that made the floor shake slightly with each step. Ho's heart went cold. He looked toward the hallway and saw a shape emerging from the shadows. A dragon. A full-grown dragon, walking on two legs like humans did, but there was nothing human about her. She was tall, nearly 3 meters high. Her scales were dark red, like dried blood. Her eyes glowed like molten gold. Her wings were folded against her back, but even folded, they looked massive enough to block out the sky. Ho recognized her. Everyone in the building knew her. Executive Director, the most powerful dragon in industries. Some said she was the most powerful dragon in the whole city. And she was walking straight toward them. Turned and saw her. "Mother." Ho felt his blood freeze. Mother. This hatchling, this small purple child he had been sitting with, was the daughter of Executive Director. He was a dead man. His golden eyes locked onto him. They burned with an intensity that made Ho want to run, but his legs would not move. He was frozen in place, like a mouse caught in the gaze of a hawk. The dragon stopped a few steps away. She looked then at Ho, then at the mechanical bird singing on her daughter's shoulder. Said, her voice was deep and cold, "What is happening here?" Ho waited for the end to come. Did not seem to notice the danger in the air. She bounced toward her mother with pure joy on her face. "Mother, look!" She held up her arm so the mechanical bird could show off its glowing eyes and moving wings. Ho fixed her. His golden eyes moved from her daughter to Ho. He was still on the floor, frozen in place. His toolbox sat open beside him, his small human tools scattered on the marble. "Who are you?" asked. Her voice was like thunder rolling across mountains. Ho's throat was dry. He swallowed hard and forced himself to speak. My name is Ho, ma'am. I work here. I am a janitor. A janitor, said the word like it left a bad taste in her mouth. You are a cleaner. Yes, ma'am. And you touched my daughter. The question hung in the air like a blade. Ho knew that his answer could decide whether he lived or died. Dragons were protective of their young, more than protective. They were dangerous about it. Stories were told of humans who had been burned to ash for simply getting too close to a hatchling. I did not mean any harm, Ho said. His voice shook a little, but he made himself keep talking. She was crying. Her toy was broken. I only wanted to help. Help, spoke the word slowly. You helped. Yes, ma'am. Turned to look at. The hatchling was playing with her mechanical bird, making it fly in circles around her head. She was laughing, completely unaware of the tension between the adults. Said, tell me what happened. Stopped playing and looked up at her mother. I came to find you, but you were in a meeting. I waited in the lobby, but I dropped and she broke. Her small face fell at the memory. I was so sad. I cried and cried. And then asked. Then Tae-ho came. He asked if I was okay. He said he could fix, and he did. Face brightened again. He has magic fingers, mother. He made sing again. Looked at Ho. Her expression was unreadable. Ho could not tell if she was angry or curious or something else entirely. You fixed a dragon toy, said, with human tools. Yes, ma'am. The wing joint was loose, and a wire inside had come disconnected. It was not too difficult to repair. Not too difficult, repeated. Dragon craftsmanship is the finest in the world. Our toys are made with techniques that humans cannot understand, and you fixed one in a few minutes with a screwdriver. Ho did not know what to say. Was she angry, impressed? He could not tell. I have worked in this building for 3 years, he said carefully. I have fixed many small things, door handles, light panels, window locks. I have learned a little about how dragon technology works. Stared at him. Her golden eyes seemed to pierce right through him, seeing things that normal eyes could not see. You are afraid, she said. It was not a question. Ho nodded. Yes, ma'am. Why? The question confused him. Because you are very powerful, and I am just a janitor. I touched your daughter without permission. I thought you would be angry. And yet you helped her anyway, said, even though you were afraid of what might happen. Ho thought about it. She was crying, she was alone, she is just a child. I could not walk away. Something changed in his eyes. The coldness faded just a little. She looked at Ho like she was seeing him for the first time. Most humans run from dragon children, she said. They are afraid of what the parents might do, but you stayed. I have a younger sister, Ho said. When I saw crying, I thought of her. I thought of all the times I helped my sister when she was sad. I could not leave alone. Was silent for a long moment. Then she did something that surprised Ho completely. She lowered her head in a small bow. Thank you, she said. Ho's eyes went wide. An executive director of industries was bowing to him, a cleaner, a nobody. I was in a meeting that ran late, continued. Was supposed to wait in my office, but she grew restless. I did not know she had come down to the lobby. I did not know her toy had broken. She looked at her daughter with soft eyes. If you had not been here, she would have cried alone for hours. It was nothing, Ho said quickly. Anyone would have done the same. No, shook her head. They would not. I have seen how humans look at dragon children. They see danger, they see trouble. They do not see a child who needs help. She looked back at Ho. But you did. Ran over to Ho and grabbed his hand. Her claws were small and warm against his skin. Mother, can Tae-ho come to our home? She asked. He is my friend now. I want to show him my room and all my other toys. Looked at her daughter, then at Ho, then back at her daughter. A smile appeared on her face. It was small, but it was there. We will see, she said. Ho felt something he had not felt in a long time. Hope. He did not know what the future held. He did not know if tonight would change anything. But for this moment, he felt like maybe, just maybe, the world was not as divided as everyone said. "I should get back to work," he said softly. "The floors will not clean themselves." Nodded. "Go, but know this, Ho." She spoke his name carefully, correctly. "I do not forget kindness, especially kindness shown to my daughter." Ho bowed his head respectfully and gathered his tools. As he walked back to his cleaning cart, he heard's voice behind him. "Bye, Teho, see you soon." He smiled and waved without looking back. The night was quiet again, but something had changed, something small but important, and Ho had a feeling that this was only the beginning. 3 days passed after that night in the lobby. Ho went back to his normal life. He cleaned floors. He fixed broken things. He sent money to his sister. He tried not to think too much about what had happened with an executive director. But he could not stop thinking about it. He kept remembering the way had bowed to him, the way she had thanked him, the way her cold eyes had softened when she looked at her daughter. Dragons were supposed to be proud and distant. They were not supposed to show gratitude to humans, especially not to janitors. Yet she had. On the 4th night, everything changed again. Ho was mopping the hallway on the 20th floor when a security guard approached him. The guard was a large man named Dongwu, who usually ignored Ho completely. "You," Dongwu said. "Ho, right." Ho stopped mopping. "Yes." "You have been summoned. Executive floor now." Ho's blood went cold. The executive floor was the top floor of the building, the 50th floor. Only the most important dragons worked there. Humans almost never went up. When they did, it usually meant something bad. "Summoned by who?" Ho asked. Dongwu looked at him with something like pity. "Executive director." Ho's mop slipped from his hands and clattered to the floor. The elevator ride to the 50th floor felt like it lasted forever. Ho stood alone in the silver box as it climbed higher and higher. His reflection stared back at him from the polished walls. He looked pale, scared. Maybe had changed her mind. Maybe she had decided that he had done something wrong after all. Maybe she was going to punish him for touching her daughter. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime. The executive floor was nothing like the rest of the building. The floors were made of black stone that glittered with specks of gold. The walls were decorated with paintings and sculptures that must have been worth millions. The ceiling was so high that Ho could barely see it. A young dragon in a business suit stood waiting for him. She had green scales and polite eyes. "This way," she said. "Director is expecting you." Ho followed her down a long hallway. They passed offices with glass walls where dragons sat at huge desks, working on things Ho could not understand. Some of them looked up as he walked by. Their eyes showed confusion. What was a human janitor doing here? They stopped in front of 2 massive doors made of dark wood, carved with images of flying dragons. "Through here," the green dragon said. She opened the doors and stepped aside. Ho walked in. The office was enormous. One entire wall was made of glass, showing the night sky and the city lights far below. In the center of the room stood a desk made of stone, and behind it sat executive director. She looked different than she had in the lobby. She wore a black suit that fit her dragon body perfectly. Her dark red scales seemed to absorb the light. Her golden eyes watched Ho as he approached. "Sit," she said, pointing to a chair in front of her desk. Ho sat. The chair was too big for him, clearly made for dragons. His feet barely touched the floor. Studied him for a long moment, then she spoke. "Do you know why I called you here?" "No, ma'am," Ho said honestly. "I have been thinking about you," said. "For 3 days, I have been thinking about a human janitor who fixed my daughter's toy." Ho did not know what to say, so he stayed quiet. "I asked myself many questions," continued. "Why did he help? What did he want? Was it a trick? A way to gain favor?" She leaned forward, her golden eyes locked on his face. "But I watched the security recordings. I saw everything. And I saw no trick. I saw a man who helped a crying child simply because she needed help. Ho's heart was beating fast. It was nothing special, ma'am. Anyone would have done it. No, said sharply, they would not. I have worked with humans for decades. I know what they do. They serve us because they fear us or because they want something from us. They smile and bow, but their hearts are full of greed or fear. She paused. But you are different. Ho did not feel different. He felt like a scared janitor sitting in a chair that was too big for him. Why are you different? The question was heavy. Ho thought carefully before answering. I do not think I am different, he said slowly. I think most humans are like me. We are not all full of greed and fear. We have families. We have people we love. When we see someone hurting, we want to help. He looked at. Your daughter was crying. She was alone. I could not walk away. That is all. Was silent for a long time. The only sound was the soft hum of the building around them. Finally, she spoke again. My daughter has not stopped talking about you. She calls you her human friend. She asks every day when she can see you again. A small smile appeared on his face. She has never had a human friend before. She has never wanted one, but something about you changed that. Ho felt warmth in his chest. Is a good child. She has a kind heart. She does, agreed, and she sees something in you, something I am only beginning to understand. She leaned back in her chair. Tell me, Ho, are you happy as a janitor? The question surprised him. I do not think about happiness, ma'am. I think about survival. I work to support my sister. That is enough. Nodded slowly. Your sister, she is studying at university, yes. Ho's eyes went wide. How do you know that? I looked into you, said simply. After that night, I wanted to know who you were. You are 28 years old. You have worked here for 3 years. You have no complaints on your record. You send half of your salary to your sister every month. She tilted her head. You are a good man, Ho, and good men should not spend their lives cleaning floors. Ho did not know how to respond. This conversation was going in a direction he had never expected. I have a proposal for you, said, but first I want you to meet someone. She pressed a button on her desk. A side door opened and came running in. Ho, she shouted happily. Before Ho could react, the little purple hatchling jumped onto his lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. You came back, said. I knew you would come back. Ho looked at in surprise. The executive director was smiling, a real smile this time. Now, said, let us talk about your future. Sat on Ho's lap, her small claws gripping his shirt. The mechanical bird perched on her shoulder and sang softly. Ho looked down at the little hatchling, then up at executive director. My future, he asked carefully. Nodded, I have a problem, Ho. Perhaps you can help me solve it. I do not understand. I am just a janitor. What problem could I possibly help with? Gestured toward her daughter. Is my problem, or rather finding good care for her is my problem. Looked up at Ho with her big golden eyes. Mother is always busy, she said sadly. She has to work all the time. I have to stay with nannies, but I do not like them. They are not bad people, said, but they are afraid of her. They treat her like she is fragile or dangerous. They do not play with her. They do not talk to her like she is a person. They just watch her and wait for me to come home. Ho understood. He had seen the way humans acted around dragons, even around dragon children. They were careful, distant, always thinking about what might go wrong. I have hired 12 nannies in the past year, continued. Has rejected all of them, but you, she looked at Ho with thoughtful eyes. You she likes. Me, Ho's voice came out higher than he meant it to. You did not treat her like a dragon, said. You treated her like a child. You saw her tears and wanted to help. You talked to her gently. You made her laugh. She paused. That is rare, more rare than you know. Tugged on Ho's shirt. Please say yes, she whispered. Please be my friend forever. Ho's heart felt tight. He looked at this small creature on his lap, this little dragon child who had somehow chosen him out of everyone in the world. He thought about his own life, the endless nights of mopping floors, the loneliness, the feeling that he was invisible. But he also thought about the risks. This was dangerous. Getting close to dragons always was. What if something went wrong? What if got hurt while he was watching her? What if decided she had made a mistake? I do not know if I am the right person, Ho said honestly. I have never taken care of a dragon child. I do not know anything about your culture or your customs. I am just a human. That is exactly why you are right, said. Does not need someone who sees her as a dragon first. She needs someone who sees her as a child. She leaned forward. I am offering you a position, Ho, not as a janitor but as a caretaker for my daughter. You would work during the day when I am busy with meetings. You would play with her, teach her, keep her company. You would be part of our household. Part of your household, Ho repeated. The word sounded strange. The pay would be 5 times what you earn now, added. You would have your own room in my home. Your sister could visit whenever she wants, and you would have the protection of my name. No one would ever look down on you again. Ho's head was spinning. This was too much. This morning, he was a janitor who cleaned floors at night. Now, one of the most powerful dragons in the world was offering him a place in her family. Why, he asked. Why me? There must be thousands of people who would want this job. Was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was softer than before. Because my daughter smiled when she talked about you. A real smile. I have not seen that smile in a long time. She looked at with love in her golden eyes. After her father died, closed her heart. She pushed everyone away. She trusted no one. But then a human janitor sat on the floor with her and fixed her toy, and something changed. Ho looked at. The hatchling was watching him with hope on her face. Please, Tae-ho, she said. I do not want another nanny who is scared of me. I want you. You make me feel safe. Safe, such a simple word. But coming from this small dragon child, it meant everything. Ho thought about his life. He thought about all the years he had spent in the shadows, invisible and alone. He thought about his sister, who always told him he deserved better. He thought about his parents, who had died when he was young, leaving him to raise by himself. He had always put others first. He had never asked for anything for himself. But maybe it was time to change that. Okay, he said softly. His eyes went wide. Okay. Yes, Ho smiled at her. I will be your caretaker. I will be your friend. Let out a sound of pure joy. She wrapped her arms around his neck and hugged him than before. Her small body was warm against his chest. Thank you, thank you, thank you, she said, her voice muffled against his shoulder. Watched them with a smile. You have made a good choice, Ho. I think this will be the beginning of something special. Ho looked at the executive director over his head. I will do my best, I promise. I know you will, said. That is why I chose you. 1 month later, Ho stood on the balcony of his home in the mountains. The house was enormous, carved into the side of a cliff like a nest for giants. From where he stood, he could see the city far below, glittering like a sea of stars. Behind him was playing within the garden. Her laughter echoed through the air, bright and happy. She had laughed more in the past month than she had in the past year, according to. Ho's phone buzzed. He looked at it and smiled. It was a message from. I cannot believe my brother works for a dragon executive director now. You have to tell me everything when I visit next week. Love you. He typed back, I love you too. See you soon. He put his phone away and looked at the sky. The sun was setting, painting the clouds orange and gold. Somewhere in the distance, dragons were flying home for the night. Ho thought about how strange life was. One small act of kindness had changed everything. He had fixed a broken toy for a crying child, and now he had a new life, a new home, a new family. Ran up to him and grabbed his hand. Come play with me, Tae-ho wants to show you a new trick. Ho laughed and let her pull him toward the garden. Okay, show me. As they walked together, Ho realized something important. He had spent years believing that kindness did not matter in a world ruled by power and money. He had thought that being small meant being invisible. But he had been wrong. Kindness was the strongest power of all. It opened doors that money could not buy. It built bridges that power could not force. It touched hearts that nothing else could reach. And sometimes, it started with something as simple as fixing a toy. Looked up at him with her golden eyes full of trust and love. "Tae-ho, are you happy?" Ho smiled at his small dragon friend. "Yes, I am very happy." And for the first time in a long time, he truly meant it.